Football players are expected to live a lifetime of luxury, or at least survive until they are very old. What if I told you that this is not always the case, and some football players end up broke? It doesn't sound realistic, but it happens more often than you think. Statistics show that around 40% of Premier League players go bankrupt after retirement. In this video, we will tell you about some football players who went bankrupt after earning millions. Let's start. Paul faced a harsh reality with his retirement in 1985-1986. He had a gambling addiction that caused him to lose millions in the past. He went to rehab to recover, but he would soon revert to his old ways. In 2019, he spoke about his gambling and alcohol addiction and how badly it affected his life. To him, the urge to bet was relentless and would cost him his home. Marin went from owning a home to living in a rented apartment. Luckily, he can at least make a living with his career as a commentator at Sky Sports. I'm sure it was the man who missed the penalty that most people will remember, at least until Morocco achieved this last year. In 2018, the former Sunderland striker, who used to own a costly gold Rolls-Royce, claimed he had just $180 in his bank account and could no longer provide for his family. Chennai is very sad for someone who earns £227,000 a week at the football club. Unfortunately, it was time for retirement and the money had dried up. The highlight of Eric Djamba's career was when he played as a midfielder for Manchester United. The former Cameroonian footballer played alongside the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Ryan Giggs and ended his career with a short spell at French 5th Division club Châteauroux. You would expect someone who has played for a top club like Manchester United and some other Central European teams to have at least enough money to live a good life. However, it was announced that Aston Villa won. The football player who participated in the Indian Super League later played in the French 5th League just to make a living. Kate Gillespie is another former Manchester United player. Kate had a hugely successful career playing as a winger for Manchester United and later Newcastle United. He led Newcastle to the Champions League and was a mainstay of the Northern Ireland national team. However, he declared bankruptcy in 2010 at the age of 35. Apparently, Kate was also a gambling victim. He had lost up to $7 million gambling. I wonder why he might have gambled in the first place. He probably thought he needed to find some extra money for retirement as his career was coming to an end. That's why his old friend turned to gambling, but things didn't go so well. Celestine Babayaro spent most of his career as a left back at Chelsea. He was an important part of the improving Chelsea team. However, after losing his place in the team due to Brian's consistent form, he moved to Newcastle in 2005. He spent 3 years at Newcastle before moving to MLS team LA Galaxy, where he stayed for just 3 months. The Nigerian gunner officially retired in 2010, but went bankrupt just a year later. The reason for his bankruptcy is unknown, but Babayaro seems to have not done a good job of managing the euro currency. Maybe it's a gambling addiction or a failed investment. We won't know what happened unless he tells us. Ronaldinho, I'm sure you've heard this name a few times. He won the Ballon d'Or award in 2005. He played for Barcelona, a top-rated and successful team. Although his best years were behind him when he moved to Milan in 2008, he still showed signs of his impressive talent. During his years playing for both Barcelona and Milan, Ronaldinho earned a lot of money, as seen from his lifestyle. He had exotic cars and a huge mansion and loved to party. It was reported that he was left penniless despite being in debt with his party lifestyle. Ronaldinho was fined for illegal construction in his country, Brazil, and had to remortgage his property and barely pay off his debts. It led to the decision to have his passport confiscated. In 2020, Ronaldinho got into trouble with the law again. This time he was arrested for entering Paraguay with false documents. This compounded Ronaldinho's already known financial problems. Today, the former Ballon d'Or owner is still struggling with his debts. Diego Maradona. I mean no disrespect to this football legend, but we all know that Maradona is not only the king of the football world, but also a controversial one. From scoring goals with his hand to doping suspensions and even fighting on the pitch, Maradona's name has always been associated with scandals. They also had financial problems. According to a 2009 report by the Italian government, Maradona was found to owe 37 million euros in unpaid taxes, fines, fees, and interest while he was playing for Napoli. Maradona blamed his tax debt on a Napoli manager who neglected to notify him and left Italy. He also asked for the honorary title to be restored to anyone who had the same problem as him. We don't know whether Maradona was truly unaware of the tax he owed. Maradona sacrificed $42,000, sold and Rolex watches, and a pair of earrings in his plans to travel to Italy until the bill he mentioned was passed by Parliament. David James spent his career as a goalkeeper for top-flight teams such as Liverpool, Manchester City, Aston Villa, West Ham, and Portsmouth, making 800 professional appearances for these clubs. He also played 53 times for the England national team. He won the FA Cup and League Cup during his career. After retiring in 2014, James declared bankruptcy despite earning more than $20 million during his 25-year career. He is now penniless. James's problems actually started after his divorce in 2005. This led to a lot of debt, and as time went by, the debts continued to increase. James started selling his signed jerseys to pay off at least some of his debts. James's national jersey from the 3-0 World Cup victory over Argentina in 2002 sold for $672, while the goalkeeper jersey he wore for Liverpool in the 1995 and 96 season fetched more than $160. The number 1 Portsmouth jersey he wore in 2008 was also sold for $480. Another item that sold for around $100 was a packaged and unused antique Rally Cooper bicycle. Lee Henry was one of England's most promising youngsters in the late 1990s. Henry was earning $3,000 a week while playing for Aston Villa. He spent 11 years at the club at the height of his career, making 251 appearances and scoring 27 goals, leading Villa to the League Cup twice. On December 27, 2012, Henry was officially declared bankrupt. He lost almost $10 million in a disastrous property deal that contributed to his bankruptcy. He also had a luxurious lifestyle which made his condition worse. He attempted suicide twice because of his problems that snowballed, but somehow he survived. His divorce was also one of the contributing factors to his depression. Today, Lee Henry works as a commentator for Sky Sports. No matter how attractive being a football player may seem from the outside, it is a very short period in a person's life. In most cases, when retirement day comes, the money runs out. So, which of these football players do you think could have had a different story? Is there anyone I didn't include in this list? Write in the comments section below.